The goal of the show is to help you break in and thrive in advertising. And we do that every single week by sharing the stories and advice of those rocking it on the other side. And we also post news every single weekday on LinkedIn that you need to know in advertising in 60 seconds or less. I promise you, if you follow it, it is unlike anything else you've ever seen. Lots of air horns, lots of random random noises, I'll just say, on those videos. A lot of fun. It'll get your attention, give you something to talk about with your friends, your employees, your coworkers, your peers. Please follow us on LinkedIn and turn on post notifications. This episode, you are going to hear from the guest Joe Hayes, who is the Executive Director of Strategy at Barbarian. So Joe is a strategist through and through, bringing a data-driven, problem-solving mindset to one of the most nimble, creatively ambitious agencies out there. Barbarian is a legacy agency with a rebellious streak, pushing boundaries in digital, strategy, and technology. In this episode, you're going to hear from Joe, and she will share how she broke into advertising, from running a dance studio in Hoboken to leading strategy at some of the top agencies in the business. And we talk about why strategy isn't just about insights for creatives, but also about shaping innovation, technology, and business solutions. We talk about the role of data and strategy today and how Barbarian is building a team that blends creative thinking with analytics. Her best advice for breaking into strategy is a weak point of mine. So I love talking about how you get a job in strategy because I have no clue. So she'll include how to define your sources of truth, hone your perspective, and stand out in those damn job interviews. And we'll talk about why networking is the key to every career move and why you should always take the phone call. Even when you're not looking for a job, take the phone call, everybody. So we're also going to talk about agency dynamics, brand positioning, career growth, and why Barbarian is bringing back its digital cowboy roots. You're going to love this, especially you aspiring strategists out there. Maybe you're a marketer, maybe you're just curious about the future of creative problem solving. This episode is for you. You will not want to miss it. We did it in person, everybody. It was a lot of fun. So take your time with it. Come back to it later. Listen to the full thing. Reach out to Joe. She tells you how to do that at some random point in the episode. If you like what you hear, please head over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave 5 stars. Write a nice review. But really, if you get one takeaway from this long call to action, it's to please follow us on LinkedIn. We're trying to get that to 20,000 followers by the end of this year. And as of the time I'm saying this now, I think we're at 10,000. So share it with a friend, follow us on LinkedIn. Greatly appreciate everybody. Now on with the show. This is the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. And as usual, I'm your accomplice, Gino Schellenberger. Kick it, Mikey. All right. Joe Hayes, welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising Podcast. How are you doing today?
I am doing as well as I can be on this beautiful Tuesday.
Right.
Glad to be here.
Tell us where we're at right now.
We are at One Penn in the beautiful, gritty city of New York.
That's right.
We're in a podcasting room that I did not know existed in this building. We love amenities. And yeah, our office is just 10 floors up.
There we go. And we'll check it out after. Maybe we'll get some short form social videos produced
absolutely.
as well, and some fun games.
Yes.
But for now, we're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about breaking into advertising, your best advice. Today, you are an executive director in the strategy department at Barbarian. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. And I was telling my coworkers last night over several delicious drinks that I've never been more in love with my career. So
there we go.
I'm so happy to be
Was
here.
it because of the drinks or because actually you
a little bit of both, but no, we're so excited about what we're doing at Barbarian. I'm super thrilled. Like, we get to bring back this legacy brand of an agency and reintroduce it for the next generation, and we have such great people doing that, and I'm so lucky to work with them.
Heck yeah. Well, we're going to dive into that. But first, who is Joe Hayes outside of advertising and work? Like, what's your thing? What are you passionate about outside of advertising?
Oh my God, so much. It's funny because I personally identify as a trash panda. Like I love just down in the dirt shit, I guess is the best way to say it.
Okay, like what?
I'm an ex-rugby player. I'm a tequila drinker. I make spreadsheets for fun. I watch horror movies, and I'm an extroverted extrovert.
There we go. So this is going to give you energy. You're going to feel good
I'm
after
already
this.
feeling it.
Good. Sometimes I get a little depleted after some conversation. So maybe I'm an extrovert, introvert.
I think you're an extroverted introvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is important to know if you're going into an agency because it's a lot of big personalities. You got to understand how you operate first and foremost to be a team player. So
that's so true.
Is there like a quiz or something? I guess you could probably just look one up.
I think you just need to know yourself, which it sounds like you already figured out.
Then, for our listeners out there, that's like one of my favorite things. It's like to nerd up, know yourself first, and then know the industry.
You really have to, and things change with you, right? Like things change as you age. Things can change depending on where you're at in your career. One of the things that I do with my team, which I really love, is this exercise called the 6 Factors. So twice a year we do a 6 Factors exercise, which you have to make a pie chart. It has to be a pie chart because you're only 100% of all you can do, but it's your priorities for the year. So it's work-life balance, work, career growth, people, culture, and compensation. And it helps you organize what your priorities are and what you want to focus on for that short amount of time. Because if you can't, you can't care about everything equally. You have to care about some things more than others.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you have to do self-reflection exercises and know yourself. And it helps it helps me as a manager understand where people's priorities lie and how I can help them get there and what they're really focused on for at least the next 6 months.
Yeah. Do you think anybody trying to break into this industry should do that? Is there value there?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a little bit different if you're unemployed, obviously, but I think it also helps focus what you're looking for in a role and in your career and what kind of environment you really want to be in.
Oh, I like that. So that's what you have going on. You do a little bit of that, but you also said you played rugby.
Yes.
I don't want to just hover over that. So what position in rugby do you still play? Tell us more about that.
I am retired, sadly, aged out of it a little bit. But I think that rugby taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about how I work with others. It also taught me how to take a hit by a lot of different people. So I played fullback and wing. Both of those are a little bit more of a running position. They're about positioning on fields. They're about understanding where everyone is and trying to control the space on the field.
Interesting. There's got to be some sort of analogy how this.
I wasn't going to do it.
I wasn't going to do it. No. We can dive into this now, though. So tell me about today, your role, and then we can get into the Barbarian. Like, where does Barbarian sit among the 15,000 ad agencies in the market today?
There are so many.
And there's new ones popping up, and they're condensing, it seems like. So any understanding
certainly, there? The IPG merger, definitely condensing, and as an ex-RGA, sure. So executive director of strategy. I am incredibly blessed to work with really talented individuals on my team. And the strategy department at Barbarian, I think maybe a couple years ago we used to say it's different, but I think it's actually merging a little bit and becoming more of the new of both strategy and data. So I get to oversee the data practice and also the not traditional, but like what people think about when they think about strategy practice as well, which is really great. And what we're building is a cross-functional department where people can pull data, get insights from research, and really form the perspective and direction that can help creative, it can help technology, it can help the agency at large.
Nice. So what does that team ideally look like, whether it's right now or what are you planning to build towards? Like, tell me about some of the different roles.
I don't really have an ideal team structure. What I want always are creative problem solvers and people who think in a way that they can Rubik's Cube their way out of a problem. I think that's the most important part of strategy at large, is being able to give that perspective to other teams so that they can go create. I like to tell my team, we create so other people can create.
And the role of data in this now, how does this differ from maybe the traditional creative strategist, creative strategy track? Where is data coming into play here? What's the vision?
Yeah, I have a data background. I have a marketing sciences background at RGA, and I think maybe about halfway through my journey there, they developed what they called the Strat Pack, which is data, strategy, and what they called connections, which is really platform. And what's important there is understanding the holistic nature of all of those crafts together and how they can learn from each other and how you can develop that as someone in the industry and why that's so important. So, I like to say data is everything. Data is you processing the words that I'm saying right now. Data is something that we can pull from research. Everything is data, but it's what you do with data that's most important. If you can't tell a story with it, if you can't make it meaningful, then it's non-existent. It might as well not be there. And that's the same thing about strategy. That's the same thing about how if you have an idea about something or if you have a perspective, if you can't shape that so someone can action on it, then it's not meaningful.
Gotcha. Yeah, my understanding of strategy is very limited. But
I doubt that.
I don't know. You'll let me know, because I always interpreted it as,
tell me,
it's generating some sort of insight, universal human truth that will direct the art directors and copywriters to create good ideas that are on brand, on strategy. And is that still today, like high level in a wrapper, what the goal is?
It's the goal. I would say it's not limited to creative. I think it could be at Barbarian. We also think about how we shape innovation and technology. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that, but sure.
Innovation and technology. So what could that look like? Like, is there like an example, like a case study?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're working on my tech lead, Carlo, always says buy or build. And it's about solutions. I think if you have a solution-oriented mindset, technology can be applied in the correct way. We see so much tech, we see so much AI, but unless you're using it with a solutions-oriented mindset, then then you're just playing around, right? So at Barbarian, we're thinking about buy or build. Do we want to implement solutions internally that already exist, or are there solutions that we can create for ourselves or for our clients, for the industry writ large? But getting back to your strategy question, there are two things that I think strategy is, that it has to be in order to make it real, which is perspective and direction. And if you don't have one of those things, then it's not strategy, right? So perspective, I think, is actually the more difficult part. I think it's the more painful part that strategists and people in the industry struggle with, because developing true perspective can be really painful, because you have to really grapple with the information that you have. And sometimes we have so much information, right? And we need to really hone it down and really understand what is our point of view. It can't just be broad strokes. It has to be something that is really pointed. And then from there, direction actually becomes a little bit easier. What can we do? Because usually we're applying it through a brand lens, right? Either through a client or through Barbarian itself. So after that, it becomes a little bit easier of like, what is our client's role in the world now that we've developed this perspective? What is Barbarian's role in the world now that we have that? So yeah, that's what I think that strategy is. But that's why it applies to creative. It can apply to business, and it can apply to tech, really anything that you're looking through.
What was like a breakthrough moment in your career at any point where you really kind of nailed some sort of strategic direction, this perspective? Like, is there an example that comes top of mind where you felt like, I got this. This makes sense to me?
Maybe this isn't the right answer, but
It's okay.
there are never right answers.
Yeah.
I think about breakthrough moments in my career through my managers, good and bad. One of the things that, world, if you're listening, always pick your manager. I think that that's one of the things that I care about the most, and that if you have a good manager, it can shape your career in ways that you can't do by yourself, because strategy, they have perspective and direction for you if they care about you. So I picked my manager coming into Barbarian, Aliza, Yvette Esquivel. She's fantastic, longtime strategist in the space. My manager before at RGA, Kristen O'Halloran. Happy birthday, Kristen. She's turning 40.
Happy birthday.
But the managers are the ones that can really help you break through, because if a really good manager is looking out for you, they're going to help you shape and understand your career in a way that you don't have the experience at that moment to know. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like they can see you in a way where they can understand where you're going a little bit more. So a lot of credit to my current manager, Jeff Blackman, who gives me lots of space and opportunity to grow, and certainly the CEO of Barbarian, Joe Maglio, who gave me this position and allowed us to really shape a data-backed strategy team, because that's a really breakthrough moment for my career, and it's why I'm here now.
Heck yeah. So then tell me more about Barbarian. Let's get into this. Like, who are some of the clients that you're working with? Who are some of the clients you're working with? What are some of the projects that you hope to work on? Vision for it? Give me it all.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're actively shaping the vision, which is really exciting. One of the things that we talked about last night over many martinis, many wines, is the legacy of Barbarian and who we are at our core and our DNA. I mean, definitely an agency that was founded by some digital cowboys, which I love. And it's one of the things that we're bringing back about the industry, I think, is a little bit of that irreverence for the space, and not being so platform first. Let's think little bit more about not what's possible, but what's impossible. And I definitely think that was at the core of the agency, and that's something that we're really fostering and bringing back. One of our core principles is interaction. As my creative partner Sarah says, if what we do doesn't make people want to do things, it's not worth doing. And that's what we're really working on. We have incredible clients. We're super excited about everything that we have going on this year, and yeah, there's just like a horizon to come.
Okay. Got it. And I noticed that you mentioned, like, with the strategy role, you're thinking about the brands that you're working with as an agency, but then you're also thinking about the agency's brand too. So I'm assuming that you have a part in how you're communicating out to Barbarian to the world, which is really good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's an incredible brand of an agency. I didn't come here for that, but it's obviously lovely to have. I got to work at RGA for so long, which is another agency with an incredible brand. But I came to Barbarian for the people, and one of my longtime partners, Ben Kravitz, always says, we're just really proud of the type of agency we are, the size of the agency we are, because we're a little bit of a smaller niche agency, we get to move really nimbly. And I think that's one of our strengths, is that everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a responsibility to do and to bringing the best work.
How would you define that, like, niche right now? And I know niches grow. Like, we started this show with a niche, and it's been growing and expanding. So what's the assessment today that you guys specialize in, you're really good at, and maybe where you hope to grow?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's one of those that we grapple with all the time, because this is going to sound irreverent, like I just said, but we can do it all.
Yeah.
And to be a small agency that has, a social AOR under its belt, it can do end to end. It can do back end and front end web development. We can think about a brand's problems and try to solve them in a holistic way, or in a way that, we come at it from a specific angle. What I really love to think about for Barbarian is the emotionality of it all, because I think you said it. What are we talking about? 1,500 agencies in the U.S.?
I think 15,000.
15,000.
Yeah, that's too much.
I know, it's so many agencies, and that is agencies that are 3 people. It's agencies that are 3,000 people, and let's just be honest about it. We all do advertising at the end of the day. We all want to try to solve brand problems. We want to do great work for our clients, and if you don't bring a lens of emotionality and fuck it, break it, fuck it, make it to it, then that's the sort of attitude that I think we bring at Barbarian.
I love it. So we'll come back there. So I need to know now, the title of the show is what, Jack, who's on the producer mic? What's our show called?
Hi,
Breaking
Jack.
and Entering.
That's right.
That's Jack.
There's
Love
14,273 advertising agencies in 2024.
We'll see what it looks like in 2026.
14,000.
There's a 2% increase from 2023. I'll have you know.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, sir. And thank you for telling.
2% increase?
2% increase from 2023.
Wow.
Wow.
We'll see
More
what it
than
looks like in
one.
So we're
2026.
growing.
Less than 3.
Our industry is
That's
growing.
right.
Fantastic.
Is Breaking Entering an ad agency?
Is that a rhetorical question, or do you
it's
want me to
not.
answer? Okay.
Come on.
Not yet. Maybe one day.
I don't know. We created an ad for one of our sponsors, and it's going to probably win a can. It was like a
Really?
60-second. Yeah.
Confirmed.
We're
I just looked it up.
we're putting it out there in the
I believe
world.
it.
It's so bad. It's so bad. We'll show you it after
I was
this.
about to say, show me after.
Oh man, we had talk about lack of strategy, but we're working on it.
Listen, I mean, it's a tango, right? Sometimes great ideas just come up.
That's right. That's right. So how did you break into this business? At what point did you tell a young Joe or talk to yourself, look in the mirror and said, I want to be a strategist in advertising?
I never said I wanted to be a strategist in advertising.
Yep.
And I think that's how I ended up here. So long story, very, very short, I guess, is I graduated college during the recession. LOL, which one? The housing one. And no one was hiring. I was an anthropology major from a small liberal arts school. Didn't know what I was going to do with that. Moved back home to the greatest city in the world, Hoboken, New Jersey.
Nice.
And I ran a dance school for 2 years.
I see that. What type of dance?
They did, just like Barbarian does everything, we did all kinds of dance.
There we go.
So I was... That was my managing director title. So I outranked myself as a recent graduate. But what I learned there is the struggle of running a small business, and I understood how to deal with clients. I love the moms in Hoboken. Many of my friends are now moms in Hoboken, but they want the best for their children, as our clients want the best for their brand. And I started to use data there. I really looked at the business model for the dance school. I looked at census data for Hoboken, and I thought, we need to offer different types of classes. We need to advertise this in a different way than it was. My creative director for the dance school at the time was a professional ballerina. She was very artsy. She was very focused on that, but she didn't know how to run a business. She's great. Hi, Bethany. So I reshaped that business, and then after a couple of years, I thought, well, I guess it's time to get a career. And one of my friends was working at Morpheus Media, and she said, I'm hiring for an intern. And that's what I tell everyone when I am mentoring people or helping them break and enter into their advertising heist, is you have to network. And it's so hard. Like, everyone I talk to, I'm in such admiration of them cold reaching out on LinkedIn, connecting with me through other people. that's networking is one of the hardest things that I think I've ever done or that people can do. But you have to keep doing it because that's how I've gotten every single job in advertising is through someone else I knew. I went to Morpheus Media through a high school friend. Someone at Morpheus that I was connected with got me into OMD. Someone who I went to college with connected me with RGA. Someone who was my direct report got me into Barbarian. Like it all is connected, and people are your best resource at the end of the day.
Totally. And it doesn't stop even when you break in. You should continue to have conversations and check in with your friends and see how other shops are going. It's not cheating. It's just how you have in this industry.
Why
you got
would it be cheating?
I don't know. You're talking to somebody else, right? Like you got to keep
always take the phone call. Always take the phone call. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You're never cheating. Always take the phone call.
That's right.
Wait, are you still talking about ad agency jobs?
Yes.
Well, we're not sure now. No, but it's one of the things that I tell Madeline at my agency is always take the phone call because you never know. And like, I've certainly taken phone calls knowing that I'm not the right person, but trying to understand a little bit more about who they're looking for because I might know someone that I can connect
Totally.
in that sense. And I'm lucky to get to do that.
I mean, I was working at an agency recording episodes in the studio, talking with other agencies every single week, and nobody really cared. They're like, "Yeah, keep doing your thing." It's like people are really supportive of it.
Absolutely, because I think being in this industry, we are all trauma bonded in a way.
Yeah.
But you have to be a mad scientist to want to do this, right? Like, this is a little bit crazy at the end of the day. And I think that there's a connective thread there.
Love it. So the dance studio. Learned so much there. Small business owner, understood your clients. They might have been tough clients at that time, demanding, for their children, I'm sure. But I guess, what would you say to a young Joe then, like knowing what you know now? Like if you wanted to break into a strategist role right away, what advice would you give her?
It's the same advice that I try to give myself every day, which is keep your eyes and ears open. I think that one of the things that is most valuable for anyone, it doesn't matter if you're just starting or if you're 50 years in this industry, is that you have to keep learning. And it's a privilege to keep learning. One of the things that's so great about strategy is that we are so privileged in that we get to explore and learn for our job. There's responsibility that comes with that. We have to make sure, again, that we're shaping our knowledge in a way that is actionable. But it's one of those things that I think is the advice that I give a lot of people is that you have to keep building that understanding and opening your mind to what's possible, because otherwise you're dead in the water.
Totally. Understood. How are we doing on time, Jack? I want to do a fun segment if we're doing well. We're good?
I have no idea.
You good on time?
We're done.
Okay.
Great.
Then I want to ask
This time is flying.
if
Jeez.
you were to, when you're interviewing a potential strategy candidate, whether it's at Barbarian or you've done it in your past, what are some of those questions you would ask a junior to mid-level strategist just to understand their thinking? First, I'm assuming, are you checking a portfolio? Checking their resume? What's the process like?
I'm going to be honest, I hate a resume.
Good. Please, let's go.
The resume tells me almost nothing.
Nice to glance at, maybe.
You get a little bit of some cursory information from it, but there's nothing that replaces face-to-face, either 3D or 2D time with someone. I'm not sure if one thing I do ask all the time is what type of team environment do you do best in? That's not necessarily about their thinking, but it does tell me about how they collaborate, how they work with people, and how they approach a problem, because strategy at the end of the day has to be collaborative.
Okay. So if I said I like isolation, vacuum, and then I think I'll come up with a golden idea on my own, that would be a red flag.
Well, never a red flag, but just maybe not for my team kind of situation.
Perfect to know.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's nothing wrong with individual contributors. I think that there are absolutely work environments that they can thrive in.
Yeah, we're talking ad agencies here,
Exactly,
though.
but you have to work with people. You have to be okay to work with people. And people think that collaboration is a fluffy word and it's, all about being nice and generous. But it is really more about being able to really get into the shit with someone and really think with them and disagree sometimes and figure out how to grapple through a problem.
Gotcha. So then how do you understand like their way of thinking and like what questions is it looking at, like their past work for strategy in general? Like what's the approach on if you're in between candidates or to stand out? What
I usually ask them to tell me about a moment of how they solved a problem. And what I'm really looking for in that is I'm looking for the struggle. I'm looking for a little bit of uncertainty almost. I'm looking for that they were able to muscle through something and come out on the other side. And even if they're not sure if that's the right answer, that they made a decision at the end of the day.
Interesting. I'm just thinking back to the dance studio when you brought up the census data.
Yes.
Like if, thinking about the future of the business, how you're going to grow revenue or like future proof it. And then the response to that, like going to the census data in Hoboken and then whatever that other solution might have been. Like that to me is an interesting way of thinking.
Absolutely.
I would have never thought of that.
Like it was funny because at the time what my creative director had done is done an even distribution of classes by age at the time. So, 3 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 9, and then so on. It's not representative of who lived in Hoboken at the time.
Yep.
So I said, let's get rid of all of these older kid classes. I mean, I grew up in Hoboken. I know that there aren't any older kids. I was like, let's bucket 3 to 4 and let's really offer all of our classes here. And, I was young enough at the time and it was her business, not mine. But if we fail, we fail, but at least we learn.
Yeah.
Which is honestly
So
how we keep going.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Any other things that you do with, or you would recommend people that want to break into strategy to think about before an interview or prepare their body of work that you would recommend?
Prepare your body of work. I would figure out your sources more than anything else and what your sources say about you. There are strategists who draw on data. There are strategists that draw on research. There are strategists that draw on culture. I have a blended team. I have a cross-functional team. They're fucking brilliant, and I love them for it because they draw on all of those. And you don't have to. I would say that there are incredible strategists out there that draw only on their own culture and experience, and that's okay. But it helps you define who you are as a strategist if you can define the sources that are the most meaningful to you.
I love that. So then would you recommend for somebody trying to break into strategy to niche up on their sources, really own something like I am the sneaker, like Complex magazine, like culture person?
Yeah,
or is
absolutely.
it better to be more across the board?
Well, it depends where you're applying for a job.
Yeah.
But that's what I always I talk to my team a lot about fit for agency. Barbarian is a data-focused, a tech-forward agency. That's
There you go.
why we have a cross-functional team that really draws in on data insights and making them human first. But if you're going somewhere that maybe is more production-oriented, maybe is more, zeitgeist, then your sources might be different. But I think that you need to know that going into where you're applying for and how you're shaping yourself for your career.
It's just like for art direction and copywriting. If you see
Exactly.
an ad
Yes,
that you
that's
see
so
an ad
right.
that you like, you figure out who made it, you figure out the people that made it, and then you know their style. And then you might resonate, and you might have work that looks like that.
Correct.
That's spec work or real work.
Yeah.
And then the same thing applies for strategy. Like, what's the ads that you like? Who are the strategists that made it? Then you can see the shop that they're at and their style there as well.
Yeah.
You should keep your perspective as well always. You shouldn't just change who
It's
you are
how
for
you
the
shape
agency.
your perspective and direction, and it's
Love
what you choose to inform that.
Was there like a resource that you use today, or software tool that you recommend every strategist, aspiring current strategist, to like check out, whether it's website, article, book, any resource that you wish you would have known about earlier?
Not that I wish that I knew about earlier, but you have to be comfortable not knowing. You have this is going to be so basic, but AI, you got to lean in. I know that sometimes it's a little bit scary. Like the burgeoning technology can be like, but what about my job?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, technology is there and accessible to make us better at what we already do, which is strategic thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say that there's a specific tool. I would say that we have to be as open as we can about innovation and continue to audit that. One of the things that my team does is at least once a quarter, we audit a segment of tools. So last year, we audited all of the social listening vendors that we could. This year, we audited all the social media performance vendors that we could. And it's understanding what's out there and what's best that can help us get to the best insights. It's sort of a non-answer.
Yeah, I mean, don't throw the new tools away. Like there was a new AI tool that Jack brought up, and I was like, this looks...
What is it, Jack?
It was like crazy. It was like creates ads with AI. It's backed by Peter Thiel. What's it called?
Oh, wow.
Very much going viral. But it's like you have to plug in the footage, and that pretty much just does like a lot of the editing, and it's like, we can make 300 ads that you could do in 30 same amount of time to make 30 ads.
Yeah. And I just think that's...
Oh, good. I can retire then.
I think that's disgusting.
It's probably good for, like,
I think
the
that's just
use case was,
horrible.
like the meta ads or that stuff.
I don't know.
Well, listen.
I refuse
Did
to
you say
learn.
disgusting?
say?
Did you say disgusting?
I said disgusting.
Disgusting.
I want to throw it away. Like, I don't even want to learn
Well, I
about
guess
it, but
where's
that's
the
probably a bad...
Learn about it, but
Yeah.
like you're not wrong in that. Where's the humanity?
Yeah.
But learn about it.
Yeah, you got to
know
learn
thy
about it.
enemy
My enemy's enemy
Is my...
is my friend.
Yes.
So we're all ganging up on CapCut.
Whatever it's called, yeah. What's it called?
Come back to me in
All right. Well,
a minute.
we are pretty much done here, Joe. Is there any way that people can reach out to you if they have any questions, they want to get on a call? Maybe there's the marketing folks out there that want to work with you.
Oh my goodness. Anyone can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am really bad at it. So I might not get back to you right away, but I will always try whenever someone reaches out and, says that they're starting their career or they just want to connect. It's how I've met some of, my brightest mentees, people who are such rising stars. I'm really optimistic about the next gen of marketing because there is such a human focus that I feel like is coming with this next generation, and maybe a little bit less of a pessimism of being in the agency for a long time. But so reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you want to talk to Barbarian, I guess visit our website.
Gotta be. Gotta be.
And I mean, unfortunately, the Barbarian horror movie, which I did love, did mess up our SEO. So wearebarbarian.com. And this has been a fucking pleasure.
Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time. Jack, what was it called? We'll wrap it up here.
I didn't end up looking it up.
You didn't look it
I
up.
said
Listen,
it was going to be
you know
done.
what? We'll save it for another day.
No free ads also.
That's right.
No free ads.
No free ads.
No free ads.
No free ads.
Except for
free
Diet
AI
Coke.
ads.
We'll do a
I
test run
know,
here.
I'm
Maybe
so,
maybe they will want to sponsor us now because of that. But
Let's go.
It's a gimme.
Coca-Cola,
You're
reach out.
welcome, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
yeah, but great work, Joe.
Thanks, Gino. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Madeline. We did it.